Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Trina here with a new video for you. In this video, we'll dive into the character Irene from the Fairy Tail anime. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying, just sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. So, let's get started. Irene Belisarion was part of the Alvarez Empire, and she was the strongest woman of the Spriggan 12. She also led her squad known as the Irene Squad. Within the Empire, she was also known as the Scarlet Despair due to her unlimited power. She was the mother of Eris the Scarlet and the creator of Dragon Slayer magic. She had many enchantments that she could cast, including Universe 1, an enchantment that changes any land's topography. Irene could also use eye magic, which allowed to portray a giant eye in the sky and see everything that surrounded the eye. She also wielded a magic staff that amplified her magic. Irene lived 400 years ago, having to be married to Rung, a general of a neighboring country, for a political settlement, and became pregnant with his child. She was the queen of a country called Dragonoff, where humans and dragons coexist peacefully. One day, in her castle's courtyard, Irene was visited by her friend, the sage dragon Belsirion, who had returned from his trip. Belsirion explained to Irene that the western dragons would attack, eat humans, and eventually invade Ishgard. She and Belsirion knew that humans and dragons could coexist together, but they wondered if that bond they created would be shattered due to the war. Belsirion reassured her that he would not allow that to happen and that he would protect the humans. With the war underway, Irene demonstrated her ability to use magical enchantments in front of a crowd, giving them hope that she could empower the dragons. However, the war was not in her favor, so Belsirion told Irene that they would lose this war, but reiterated his desire to protect humans. Hearing Belsirion's unshakable resolve, Irene decided to enter the war. She wondered if Belsirion could enchant his magic onto her and turn her into a person with the power to slay dragons. With this magic, Irene became the first dragon slayer. While Irene's plan was successful, humans could not contain the power of a dragon and were consumed by their overwhelming power. Regardless, she fought alongside Belsirion and Rung. 1 week after the end of the war, Irene turned into a dragon due to the dragon seed. Her husband called her a monster and ordered her to be put in the dungeons, fearing that she would become like Acnologia. She revealed to Rung that she was pregnant with his child, but the man claimed her to be a liar. Irene was exposed to torture and humiliated for 3 years while halting her child's growth. Eventually, Rung visited her cell and told her that she had an execution date. Irene once again tried to tell him about their child, but still believing it to be a lie, he attacked her, slashing her stomach in an attempt to cut the baby out. Angered by this, Irene transformed herself into a dragon, where she killed her husband. She claimed that she was human and wanted anyone to help her get her old body back as she flew away. Several hundred years passed. Irene remained a dragon until Seraph discovered her hiding place in the mountains. He realized that she was human and enchanted her back into her original form. Happy that she had regained her form, Irene initially expressed her lack of care since she was still mentally a dragon. So Irene wanted to give birth to her child as a human, but she had the idea that she could enchant herself onto her unborn child and she would have an avenged human body again. And she would have an average human body again. Irene tried and failed, and for that reason, she discarded her unborn child into the back alleys of Rosemary Village. Afterwards, Irene crossed over to Alakita to join the Alvarez Empire and served under Seraph. While there, Irene used her mastery over enchantment to transfix personalities onto her black and white sword, which became her 2 personal attendants and members of the Irene Squad, Hayne and Juliet. In the present, plans were in effect for the upcoming war between Ishgard and the Alvarez Empire to retrieve Fairy Heart. Irene was ordered to attend a meeting between Seraph, Empress Spriggan, and the rest of the Spriggan 12, but due to her remote location in Alakitasia, she was unable to attend. Seraph ordered Irene, Larcade, Bloodmen, and her guard to mobilize to the northern Ishgard border to eliminate any resistance while heading towards Fairy Tail. She ran to the border and annihilated the Sabretooth and Blue Pegasus alliance. Irene, along with her 2 subordinates, Hayne and Juliet, walked towards the sacred mountain of Soina. Irene changed the snowy climate into a warmer one with her unlimited magic while asking Bloodman and Larcade to prepare for battle. Hayne and Juliet watched the Ishgard force strike back against their enemies and worried that they might lose. However, Irene stated that there was nothing to fear as Bloodman and Larcade were on the battlefield. Then, Irene ordered Juliet and Hayne to join the front lines to deal with Blue Pegasus, Sabretooth, Fairy Tail, and Crime Sorcery. She also described another guest coming to the battlefield, Acnologia, so she decided to take care of him by herself. She enchanted the ground and declared to Seraph a premature victory over the Dragon King. Irene was able to locate Acnologia and heard that his objective was to destroy all the Dragon Slayers and block his path. Acnologia attempts to spare her life, but Irene provoked him to fight her. affirming that she was aware of his strength and giving him a worthy challenge. She began fighting against Agnologia by casting destructive enchantments, but her attacks were useless against the Dragon King, and she is subject to Agnolia's own Dragon Slayer magic. However, this doesn't stop Agnologia from acknowledging Irene's magical abilities. Irene expresses her desire to stop Seraph's game and bring the war to an end. She began casting a brand new type of magic that was unknown to Agnologia by enchanting the earth of the entire kingdom of Fiore. Irene then told her name to the Dragon King and wanted to meet him in the future before enveloping all of Fiore in the light of Universe 1. She was later warped inside Mercurius' castle while saying that the result was favorable for the first time using the spell. Afterwards, she defeated the royal family guards without breaking a sweat, including Arcadios, which was in shock of the might of her power. Irene turned a direction towards Toma, Fiore and his daughter. He asked Irene to do as she pleased with him, but to spare his daughter. She then turned Hisui into a mouse and asked the king if he would still love his daughter despite her new appearance. The king replies that he will always love his daughter, no matter what. Irene pitied his affection for his daughter and prepared herself to cast another spell. She suddenly stopped and sensed a familiar presence and investigated using her eye magic to scan the environments. She was able to spot a red-haired woman, which was her daughter, Erza Scarlet. However, she didn't recognize right away that it was Erza, so she began pondering about her identity. She later appeared behind Mira Jane after her exhausting battle against Hayne and Juliet, in which Irene revealed that the two of them were swords enchanted with their personality. Mira Jane was shocked by Irene's amount of magic power, as the female Spriggan used this opportunity to use both Hayne's magical bands and Juliet's mucus magic to tie Mira Jane up and then torture her by burning her skin. She was stopped by August along with Brandish and accused Irene of using Universe 1 without the Emperor's consent. She then blamed it on Agnolia's appearance and also pointed to the magic's successful usage. August brushed Irene's comments aside and decided that the remaining shields of Spriggan must assemble at the Emperor's side. Irene refused to follow August's orders and reminded her that he was the general of the Spriggan 12. She then obliged, but declares that she wanted to take care of Mira Jane first. August, running out of patience, pierced Mira Jane's heart before the witch could act. Satisfied, Irene departed with August and Brandish. Later, Irene was seen along with the Spriggan 12, gathered at the Fairy Tale Guild. She was greeted by Zareth, who praised her for successfully casting Universe 1. He ordered her to remove Fairy Heart from Mavis, who was shocked that Irene could do such a thing. From Maves, Irene stood in front of the guild and prepared to extract Fairy Heart. As the battle continued outside, Irene began pulling Fairy Heart, as well as showing pity for Mavis' current state. Hurt by Irene's extraction, Zareth confronts her displeased to see Mavis suffering and questions the enchantment duration. Irene called him out for his naivety, and that Agnolia's defeat was impossible if Zareth himself had such feelings. Zareth acknowledged her words and left the building, letting her continue the extraction. However, Irene was once again interrupted by Nienheart, informed her that he could locate Erza. She instantly ordered him to kill her, but he argued that his Historia is ineffective against Erza. Regardless, she insisted that she does it himself, reminding the Spriggan of his true identity. While the extraction process was still in effect, Seraph once again arrived at the scene wishing to speak to Maves one last time. Irene expressed her opposition, but Seraph was still persistent in his attentions. But it was revealed that he had been an illusion made by Mavis. Angry that she was deceived, Irene went outside and manifested her giant eye in the sky, taunting everyone that Mavis cannot run or hide from her gaze. Mavis's voice is then projected as a massive illusion, taking Irene by surprise. Irene then cast Berserker on the Alvarez army, enchanting them into mindless strong warriors and brutalized Fairy Tail. Satisfied, Irene wondered how Mavis would respond, but Makarov Fairy Tail loss suddenly blinded her. However, she could survive Makarov's ultimate move, but most of the Alvarez army was wiped out. Only the Spriggan 12 remained unharmed. Irene then traveled to where Team Natsu was located and attacked them as she greeted Erza. Erza asked who she was, as Irene responded that they were the same. She attacked Irene, but retaliated with an atmospheric enchantment, but Wendy suddenly blocked it. Irene cursed both Wendy and Erza for being unaffected by Larcade's magic. She engaged to Erza, but she easily parried all her blows. Irene once again requested Irene to identify who she was. Irene revealed herself as her mother. Regardless, Erza believed that anyone that stood against Fairy Tail was an enemy, even if that individual is related by blood, as Irene felt the same way. Irene revealed to her daughter that there was a secret to her birth and began telling both her and Wendy her story, beginning back when she was called the Queen of Dragons. Afterward, Erza declared that she would cut her mother down, while Irene responded with the same goal, despite her failed attempt to reignite motherly feelings. Irene tried to attack Erza, but both she and Wendy took her by surprise and wounded her. Irene attempted to patronize Wendy with the prospect of turning into a dragon, but after hearing that dragons could stop the dragon seed growth, she was sent into a rage. She was screaming that she wanted her life back, while Erza continued attacking her mother, but Irene nullified with Deuce Zero. But Wendy could also cancel Irene's attacks. Erza delivered the final blow by slashing Irene's head, but she smiled, revealing that one can enchant themselves onto someone as long as they are compatible, even if they aren't related by blood. Irene took over Wendy's body while stating that she had been born anew. With her new body, Irene realized that her old body was useless and responded to Erza that Wendy was gone and that she was her. She attacked her daughter, intending to kill her as she created an explosion while remarking Wendy's magical potential. Irene tried using Wendy's Sky Dragon Slayer magic to perform the deed. Erza tried to attack Wendy, possessed by Irene, but she stopped her by asking her if she could harm her friend's body. This gave Irene a chance to blow up Erza's armor, but it barely scratched her. Irene's body is suddenly moving because Wendy has taken over her discarded body and cast Deus Corona. Irene was shocked by Wendy's magic power, which was more significant in her own body. Wendy was proceeded to attack Irene by separating Wendy's body via Deuce Zero, but showed resistance. However, this proved useless, and the two women were successfully back in their bodies. Filled with uncontrollable rage, Irene began attacking Erza with various enchantments while cursing her daughter for continuing to stand in the way of her happiness. As they clashed against one another, Erza started to explain to her mother that she was enslaved in a cult for several years, but regardless, she could find her happiness in people to love. Irene's rage grew when she wished that Erza was never born, and she never wanted her daughter dead. She undid the enchantment that Seraph bestowed upon her and assumed her proper form as a dragon. She broke Erza's left arm and legs and explained that her enchantments go from being high enchantments to master enchantments, as she summoned an asteroid to come down towards the battlefield. Erza used a gauntlet to propel herself towards the meteor to destroy it. She was able to destroy it and bounce back towards Irene, breaking her dragon scales with her sword. Irene is then transformed back into her human form as she endured Erza's attack while her daughter collapsed on the ground. She picked up Erza's sword and prepared to stab her with it, but hesitated after seeing her daughter smile. She thought back to when her daughter was born, and she couldn't make herself go through with the enchantment. However, this distraction allowed Erza to headbutt Irene, but she once again picked up her daughter's sword, only this time to stab herself. Erza asked her mother why she stabbed herself, and she answered that she remembered her smile when she was an infant, which reminded her of how much Irene loved Erza. After Irene died, Universe 1 and the rest of her enchantments were broken and returned Fjord to normal. Acnologia soon arrived at the location and defiled Irene's corpse after identifying her as the creator of Dragon Slayer magic. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has got you covered. Our We the Celestials, My Hero Academia, and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone in the production of today's awesome content. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, then I'd like to extend you an invitation to join the team. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, then I'd like to extend you an invitation to join the team. The only caveat being that we only accept members from 16 years and up to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interest by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching, and have a great day. Bye!